Good afternoon. My name is Ankit. I am the Enterprise Group Director for BIA Group, and I would allow my panelists to please introduce themselves.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dheeraj Shashidharan. I head Information Security Assurance at a leading financial organization in the UAE. Thank you.
Hi, this is Astrid. I'm heading the International Privacy and Data Protection team at Dubai Economy and Tourism.
Hi, my name is Shanaka. I am the Senior Manager for Ras Al Khaimah Tourism Authority. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Prabhat. I'm Director IT in Technology and Cybersecurity, Gulf Marketing Group. Thank you.
Thank you. Our topic of today for the panel is Trust Transformation by AI-powered GRC, as we just spoke about. Let's dive in. I will open this question to Astrid and Shanaka. Right? What is your experience, and what steps you think you have taken to improve internal and external business trust?
Okay, thank you. So this is first of all, it's a quite difficult time after lunch, I know. So so now when you talk about trust is something important in general. You know, it's something very difficult to achieve nowadays. This is important for personal life as well as our business relationships. When you foster trust, definitely we can strengthen the internal relationship between our stakeholders, and also we can achieve the competitiveness within our business processes. Now, when we have the competitiveness in our business processes, of course, we can achieve the sustainable business model in long run. Now, I will look at first internal trust. Now, there are multiple factors that we can drive this trust in an organization. I know this is a little bit out of the technology part, but you know, any GRC mechanism, there's a behind human element. So I'm just going to touch based on the human element in general. The trust in internal stakeholders, we are talking about, we have a diverse workforce nowadays, having different cultures, you know. So managing this internal stakeholder is not an easy task. So we need different strategies to manage. In order to drive the internal trust, I believe the governance plays a crucial role. The policies that we have, the processes we have, what we have within an organization is critical in order to drive internal trust. This includes empowerment, including the collaboration, empathy. See, these are small the factors I'm talking about in general, which is really behind all the systems what we have. At the end of the day, people are the main element that we manage all the systems, and processes are people are part of each processes. So that when you want to drive your internal trust, definitely we need to make sure that we address those requirements within our each processes. So, as example, I take my stake in now within a Ras Al Khaimah Tourism Authority as one of the very small example I take it. Now, if I want to do a service desk, we want means that when a request comes, I need to make sure that I address my request properly, on time, on a particular time frame within my the process. So this request, that means I need to see that I have addressed this. There's a need to address this need, this particular requirement in our policies. That means first through goals. Then I have to make sure that this has been addressed in our policies. I have to make sure what is the time, how much time going to take, what is my promise to the department that how much, when I'm going to fix this problem. And then also to get the feedback from the internal colleagues, you know, how it was fixed, what is your satisfaction. So this is a very important elements. I just touch based on what are the key elements that we need to touch based on when we want to do improve internal trust. When you go to external trust, so today we're talking about customers expect that organization to run their business on a more ethical manner. Ethical manner means you need to have to make sure that your pricing is right, your policies are in place, right policies, and your supply chain is you have a reliable supply chain. Not only that, having having sustainable continuous quality production service also key factor today, because because having quality production and service definitely will drive the external trust within an organization. And also the compliances. Having compliances with the organization, having the proper compliances, definitely with any ISO standard, GDPR standard, whatever standard we have, definitely it will drive the external factors. So I think I have touched based on I can give one example quickly. So we had legacy systems some time back within our authority to issue license and permits for the whole hospitality sector in the Sakhaima. So we had faced a lot of difficulties in using this. We had done a transformation. Now, transformation is not means that it is we implement a new system and we stop. It's a transformation. It's a continuous journey.
Continuous journey.
So we managed to do this because we address this as one of the goals that we as an authority we need to achieve in our as a part of our goals. Then we deliver system. We got the required policies set within our ecosystem, because some of the policies we need to fine tune on within different areas. Then of course we get the feedback of the customers saying, okay, what are where we need to improve and so on, because this is a continuous journey. So it cannot stop overnight. So that's why we can improve the trust within an organization.
Very insightful. Thank you, Shanika. And Astrid, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he touched upon everything that could have been said.
Okay, great. We'll move on to the next one in the interest of time. To Prabhat, how would you gain all involved internal parties, stakeholders, support in the process of trust transformation? What strategy would you use, like GRC by design, for example?
Yeah, thank you, Keith. So basically, GRC is one of the topics which is, again, very, very wide and very less understood by most of the audiences, including your senior management stakeholders, because it covers a lot of areas. It touches many departments, because when you're talking about governance, you're talking about compliance, so your internal audit, your cyber security, your privacy, your businesses, your marketing, and many other, whoever is dealing with any sort of information, it touches all of them. So again, one of the most important questions which business asks is why you are doing it. What's the benefit you are going to do? You're asking me, let's say, 5 templates, 100 questions, 200 sessions. You're taking time from my different teams. What is the outcome? Why are you doing it? So, for anyone, because all businesses are different, so it's important to understand that what is your business requirement, because many of your GRC requirement might not be or might need not to go to business. It is mostly within your IT peripheries that you cover 80%, because your data flows, your systems, your technologies, if you look at in today's digital world or transformative world, most of the companies you will find that somewhere your IT is touching that data. But the data is going in, data is going out, moving here, moving there, used by a different team in one way or other. So if you streamline and process that well, let's say you prioritize that, okay, I'm going to do the GRC for most of my IT related systems and whatever systems are there, in such a way that it's covering majority of areas. That covers your 80% of areas. It will include your privacy areas, it will include some of the common areas, and then you can be very focused, okay, you don't have to go through 200 questions or 200 sessions. What I need is 30 minutes time and very focused, okay, these are the 5 things I need, because these are the area businesses are handling this data. So I want to be having very specific concern, whether it is in terms of assets, in terms of your policies, compliance, whatever. Because if you talk about GRC, probably it covers almost everything you talk about security. From 0 to 100.
Absolutely.
So you can be very specific, you can be very focused, you can do your homework better prepared in a way. So when you are going and talking to the business, it makes sense. You're talking their language, because you're talking about securing their data, solving their problem, and not creating a challenge, and just for the sake of tick mark, you send 200 questions, fill it up, and they don't know why they are filling, you don't know why you are taking those questions. So I think it's very wide and very generic topic. It has to be very specific, what you need, go for that data, and then you can find that your business is in. Because if you go for just generic creating sessions and going through and probably put your one of the partners who can call themselves specialist. And if you have not done your homework, which is from the company part of it, then you are going to struggle and you will not be able to achieve what you want.
Yeah. No, absolutely. This question, I'll open this question to the panel. What changes do you think are required in your people or organization to accomplish the desired trust in the transformation goals that you hold for the organization?
You want me to take it up or?
Anyone's free to take it up.
Okay, so for me, I mean, basically, I already touched that topic, but to be specific in terms of transformation, it is about making them understand why you're doing it and making them aware. So I would say that make sure that your stakeholders understand why you are doing it, and automatically you have their tick mark inside yours. So awareness is one thing, making them understand why you're doing, what is the need, what exactly are you protecting, because end of the day it's business data, it's not IT data or anybody else's data. End of the day business is the one which is owning that data. And again, if you go next level, that's your customer. So there are different kind of areas what you are touching, depend on what data, what area, what asset, and what kind of process or whatever it could be. So depending on that, you need to have very focused discussion, make them aware what you're doing, and you already got your stakeholders buying.
Fantastic.
Sorry, if I may add
Please.
to that, I think there are two things, two elements that are very important to answer this question. One is foster indeed the culture within the organization to keep up with the policies and the internal regulations that apply to their work. But another one important element is also to keep up with the evolving environment around us, right? Because we have lots of legislation that we have to deal with, lots of development, technical developments that we have to deal with. So it's not just only, trying to keep up with the internal evolutions, but also the external evolutions that are taking place, like in AI and everything. And you need to make sure that your organization is actually transforming constantly. You cannot stand still in this world.
Do you think highlighting your transformational goals is, should you not get the buy-in for whatever reasons? Do you think highlighting those transformation goals, highlighting them as a risk to the stakeholders, would probably get you the buy-in?
It will, because a risk is something which you can sell easily. When your board is scared, even any of the stakeholders, everybody will deny the moment you say that, okay, please sign off in this form or confirm on this email, this is the risk I'm going to face, or let's say this is the breach or challenge company is going to face, nobody will sign. They start all backing off.
Right.
So you can always use that factor, but maybe it is not going to work because it depends on criticality. Sometimes business is not very well aware of the risk. They'll simply say, okay. So as a stakeholder, you also need to make them very well aware that, okay, this means this. Okay, if you're signing this, this means this is the repercussion of this, including whether it is internal or external or legal or any of those compliances. So it's important you explain that well to stakeholders so it makes more sense to them. And then they will not be probably writing that go ahead or approved, which is very easy to, 5-second job.
Right. Do you think a collectively agreed architecture and defined governance is required to achieve your trust transformation, Dheeraj?
Yeah, so my thought process is something like this. We need to improve the consistency and the transparency that we have with our stakeholders. And I'd like to dwell a little bit on the technology aspect on how that's done, right? So what today's technology allows us to do is to provide near real-time input on the posture of our organization from a technology perspective, specifically the cybersecurity portion, right? You can present what your external perimeter looks like, what your endpoints look like, and all these translate into a posture that demonstrates to your stakeholder what is the compliance that you need, what is the risks that you have, etc., right? And since we add AI to the mix, what that helps us do is, what our third-party stakeholders are telling us, is that actually true or not, right? So there's a real-time correlation that you can do and move away from these point-in-time audit snapshots that we get with our SOC 2 reports and our ISO reports to continuously demonstrating compliance, right? And this is where we change the trust conversation to our stakeholders, because that is something that can happen in real time, right? We have AI models that can read SOC 2 reports. We have AI modules that can consume news reports, right? And then give us a match against what is the posture affecting our stakeholder for the trending cybersecurity, let's say, threats that are being demonstrated for a third party that may have been breached, right? How does it affect me? I can have real-time conversations with my management stakeholders now if I'm able to add this to the mix, which the LLM models and machine learning models out there allow me to do. You need to understand what you need to present to your stakeholders, what is their real interest, and then you build an architectural framework to make that happen, right? And we have the tools today to make that happen. There is enough data that is there that really increases the transparency conversation with our stakeholders instead of the traditional, I call it the FUD approach, right? Fear, uncertainty, doubt, and you play around with that with risk, right? You have an opportunity to have real-time demonstration of the risks. You can, if you have skilled enough resources, you can exploit, you can have AI models exploiting for you. All of this is right now possible. And so then you are having real meaningful conversations with your stakeholders on why they need to address a risk as critical, right? Or if you have enough protection to, give it some time while you manage that risk in the
Showing the stakeholders.
Let me just add a little bit onto that one.
Please.
As we talk about the architecture and design, so architecture and design, end of the day, any transformation is the blueprint for any implementation. So we need to make sure that blueprint is agreed by all the stakeholders within an organization. Because if you say we are talking about GRC implementation, and we are not talking about only IT, we are talking about different stakeholders involvement throughout the organization. So before the implementation, we need to get the buy-in that we all, end of the day, this is what we want to achieve, what we are going to achieve. So therefore, agreement from all the different people, different departments, especially HR, the senior management involvement is a must. Because you are going to change the policies, you are going to change the processes. So we cannot achieve this change what we are looking at, what we are looking for without their support. So it's very important we get in the buy-in from all the stakeholders within an organization and their consents. So this consent and buy-in will come in the architecture and design. So before any GRC implementation, it's a must that we all sit together, all the different stakeholders, agree what is the proper design that we are looking and what is our approach before the implementation.
Absolutely. I think I also agree to the fact that making the conversation more relatable to first identify what they understand would definitely get you the buy-in, especially if you show an actual AI exploiting. That would definitely do it. What do you think would be the process agreed, and how do you measure the success? This is to the previous question, which is define governance and achieving your trust transformation.
Yeah. So I think already Dheeraj touched a point on that.
Briefly,
so he already said automation and some of other things, because GRC you can do it once. Manually it's not possible that you can keep up to it, and again it's like point in time snapshot. So automation is the one something which you need to, because that's measurable. You can put those, you can define your risk, you can define your stakeholders, you can define your assets. So more or less your 90-95% things you can always cover. There might be still 5% manual in terms of process and other stuff. But I think to measure it, even today also I think, again, GRC, if you look at as a topic, it's done point in time with most of companies. So the automation is something which is going to, there are certain tools which is evolving, even now they are, let's say, 80%, 90% they are achieving that goal. But still I think that is the journey which I think most of the cybersecurity companies are targeting, because posture management is not an easy thing, because you need to take input from another 100 tools, 100 sensors, and you need to present is right. So automation I feel is the way forward, where it can bring in and combine all those inputs and bring in some real-time data and you can measure it. And that's how you can actually fight with any of risks or concerns with cybersecurity. Otherwise, you are already running years and years behind, because what you did was 1 year data. You don't know what has happened in the last 1 year, and by the time you figure it out, something has already gone wrong. So that's my take on that.
I mean, the technology that is available right now is amazing, right? And it's something that we should be ready to embrace. For example, there are tools out there that can take to the HR processes, right? Or let's say you have a retail process in place. You have a document that outlines your retail process. There are tools that will consume that process document, right? And actually tell you what your systems actually did and what is the delta between them, right? And that's, I think, something, you have measurable statistics and KPIs that come out of that conversation, right? Which shows if your organization is truly doing what it said that it try out to do, right? And that's the governance conversation with actual data of what is happening in the organization, right? There's nothing more powerful than that. Instead of this, I think we are doing this process, I think it is 80% effective. All of those uncertainties are at least reduced. It's quite negligible at that point when you have something that is actually consuming your systems and your process documents and can tell you truly what the delta is, right, towards achieving your objectives.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Astrid, how do you think privacy adds to this entire conversation?
Yeah, I think a very important topic I'll keep it short, in all of this, because I agree, with real data, AI and everything, you will have a good result. But I think what's really important and what we're missing out here is that you have to start with making sure that whatever data you use to give you those reportings, those metrics and everything, the data that you use should be correct, right? And it should be collected in a legal way. It should be valid. It should be categorized. The whole sanitation process, I think that's up to like 80 or 90% of the work to give you that outcome to your relevant stakeholders. And I think that is a focus that is often forgotten, and we need to keep in mind all the time to make sure that that work is done in a proper way. Because if that's not done in a proper way, every outcome is garbage.
No, 100%. And can you shed, just very quickly, because we're just about to close the plan, can you shed more light on the interplay between AI and privacy?
Yeah, like I said about AI, if you want to use AI technology, you have to do that on data. So if you collect the data, you have to make sure that at the time of collection, when you collect the data from individuals, you have to make sure that you adhere to all those rules and regulations that nowadays exist in the world, with the GDPR as like the benchmark, the golden standard in like every other country. Similarly in the UAE, Saudi is now very, it's like the trendsetter in the UAE, and the GCC region when it comes to rules and regulations about this. And you have to be very careful that whatever data you collect, process, and store, and use your AI technology on, adheres to all these legal frameworks. So that's where the interplay comes into the perception.
I would just like to add that the ethics capability of AI should also be, you need to have good ethical guardrails in your AI models, because not only privacy, there is some biases that can be introduced on your models based on the training data. So that's also important.
100%. Thank you, panelists.
Yeah,
sorry, Prabhat, you.
One more topic on that. So the data which we are feeding to the AI, is that safe enough? And is the privacy taken care of that? Because that also becomes a question. We are taking consent from our side, from customers, but where I'm sending the data, is Microsoft or some of those major players, are they also taking care of the data? Is it well protected, well taken care of? So that's a big question, because AI, there's a lot of data which is going in, but are we really thinking about it? What is the volume of data they're taking in? Maybe as a security practitioner we do, but is that same awareness available for the rest of crowd? That's a big question, and that's a huge volume of data, ocean of data.
Some very important points. Well, I thank you, panelists, for joining us this afternoon, for shedding a light on such an important topic. And